Hey church, hope you're well. I just want to take a quick look at Psalm 9 for our devotional today. And this will be quick, kind of straight to the point. I'm not going to go through every verse. I just want to put the main verse in your mind. Psalm 9 it's a thanksgiving psalm. So the goal of the song is to praise God in thanksgiving. And the psalmist goes about that by recounting the wonderful deeds of the Lord. They're opening their eyes and they are seeing the wonderful ways that God works in his people's lives, the way he brings about salvation, the way he brings help in times of need. And there's a particular focus on justice through this. So there's talk of the Lord being the stronghold for the oppressed in times of trouble. Talks about God not forgetting the cry of the afflicted. The needy shall not be forgotten by him. He brings hope to the poor. And really what you see is this cycle through this psalm of God doing this, of God justly reigning, him kind of coming to the aid of those in need. And then you see the psalmist recounting the wonderful ways that God does that, his wonderful deeds, and then giving thanks to the Lord with his whole heart. This is verse 1. I will give thanks to the Lord with my whole heart. I will recount wonderful deeds. And then the final section of the cycle of what's happening here is praise bursting forth. I will be glad and exult in you. I will sing praise to your name, O Most High. And you see this cycle of that happening through here. Really, in other words, what you see is these many times of faith arising. You see the believer's soul kind of swelling in these moments and faith being strengthened. And I love this because this is often what it looks like in your life to have faith enlarged. These continual moments of God intervening and doing something in your life. Sometimes big, most of the time small ways, but then us recognizing the wonderful ways that he is doing this, that he is intervening, and saying, I can't believe God is doing this for me. I can't believe he's being merciful and gracious and so good to us. And then thanksgiving and praise kind of bursting forth in our life. What you see really is that faith arising isn't really about you. It's not about what you do. It's all about what God does. It's about what happens in verse 16. It's the Lord making himself known. And then us recognizing the wonderful ways that he does make himself known and learning to put our trust in him. And that's what it looks like to have your faith increased. And I think the first part of verse 7 is really the central message. And it's what I want to kind of put in your face today. Because for me, it's been meditating on this truth that has increased or to be honest, simply sustained my faith over the last number of weeks. Verse 7 says, but the Lord sits enthroned forever. The Lord sits enthroned forever. A lot of scholars will say Psalm 9 and 10 actually go together. And Psalm 10 ends in the exact same way. It says that the Lord is king forever and ever. And that's what I want to put in your face today. It's simply what I want to encourage you to think about and remind yourself daily of that truth, that the Lord sits enthroned forever, that he is king forever and ever. We not only see that he is the king, that he does sit on his throne forever, but it shows us what kind of king he is. And so it shows us that he is a just king, that he is righteous, but we also see that he's compassionate and that he's attentive to his people's needs, that he cares for them, that he inclines his ear to them, that he strengthens them. We see that he's a good king and he's enthroned forever. It means that there's never a time, there's never a moment, there never will be a moment when he isn't sitting on his throne forever. And that simple truth should give us hope. Our church has been blessed through this pandemic so far. We haven't lost anyone directly from our church family to this disease. So far, most of our tangible needs have been met. But that doesn't mean that everyone's faith is big right now. It doesn't mean that there's no loss of hope in our people's lives. Certainly there are struggles for you. I feel the fatigue really setting in, the fatigue of having to do church in this way, being physically separated, online gatherings, video devotionals, not knowing exactly when we'll be able to be together again in the same room, all of our plans being completely upended. If you're like me, you're exhausted. And I just want to encourage you, it's in these moments that we must remember that the Lord sits enthroned forever. Like big trials, small trials, whatever comes into your day, we must learn to tell our souls, to remind ourselves, but the Lord sits enthroned forever. And then we look around and we see the wonderful deeds of our King. And he's present, he is working, he's making himself known. He wants you to know his name and to trust him. I love you, church. I miss you. Hold fast and remember that our King is enthroned forever.